you watch that story, you're probably wondering, okay, what is Zach going to tell me today? I'm going to actually kind of set the tone. I'm going to use some people as an example here. Yeah, I'll use you. Okay? Yeah, I'll be sitting in this chair. So you know me, right? You know me? Does everybody know that I know him?
Yeah.
Right?
I do now.
So I've actually known him since he was in the 4th grade. I've actually known him when he was in 3rd grade. Been here for about almost 3 years now. It's been a blessing being here. I know him. So this guy, if I see him kind of, his clothes is ripped up, and he's on like the side of the road kind of going, am I just going to be like, oh man, I got to get to work. See you later. Am I going to do that, guys? Why? Because I know him, right? But even more, I care deeply for him. So what am I going to do? I'm going to rush to his aid. I'm going to stop my car, do a 360, stop in the middle of traffic, turn my hazards on. I'm going there. I'm putting whatever I can to get over there to make sure he's, taken care of, right? Well, is anybody's first time here today? Anybody ever?
Yeah.
It's not your first time. I've seen you before. So let's act like I've never seen you before. Would it be right for me to do the exact same thing, guys? Or is it okay that I would just totally bluntly just forget about him? Because I've never seen him before. Well, that's his problem. He deserves that. But you know what? Let's go even further, guys. Every day I see him doing the same thing. And deep down inside, I know I should help him, but I don't. At the end of my life, guys, it's me and God. And he shows me that same man. And you know what? He's like this with God. I told him very close. And then I look at him. Yeah, I know him. I see him every day. I see him. I know who he is. I pass him over. Every day I know him. I mean, hey, in some ways I kind of speak to him because he looked right in my eyes and I kind of gave him that nod. Hey, I know where you're at. I understand. This is where I'm at, and you understand where I'm at. This is our division, and this is where we belong. You are who you are, and I'm who I am. I'm rich, and you are not. And deal with it. Crazy, huh? Crazy my thinking would be that perverse. Maybe you guys won't admit to thinking like that, but that's what happens, guys. That sounds pretty graphic for a man like this. This cute little guy here. No man wants to be called cute, to be honest. He's a stunning looking man there. He has this little, Under Armour thing on, which is awesome. No person wants to be treated like that, right? But deep down inside, he had a yearning for good things. And the truth is that he yearned so much that he would settle for something even as little as a crumb, guys. The rich man, literally, I'm talking about, I don't know if you ever ate a piece of chicken and said, I don't like it, just throw it away. Or, I don't eat my piece today, I'm just eating one and make my parents feel good and I'm just going to throw the rest away. Rich man kind of licked the bone and licked the chicken and said, not good enough for me. And that's what you call crumbs, guys. What do you call crumbs? And you didn't get to taste that. He could have, every day you could have supplied his crumbs to him. It would have been more than enough for that poor man. But he chose deliberately not to. Not because he didn't have enough or that he was too busy or anything like that, but he deliberately, in his mind, chose not to. Why is that significant, guys? Why is that significant? I just want you to stay up here. I kind of like that. Go ahead, I'm going to use you more as an example. So you're good right now. So, let's talk. You guys see a lot of things. Raise your hand if you're 8 years old. Raise your hand if you're 9 years old. Raise your hand if you're 10 years old. Raise your hand if you're 11 years old. Okay. Raise your hand if you're 12. Raise your hand if you're older than 100. All right? Okay, so you get my point. So you have an age group here that can relate with each other. In about 10 minutes, we're going to talk to one another. We're going to read the same parable that we talked to you about, and we're going to talk with you about these important things you guys need to know. We're going to let you talk to us. What is your questions? What is your needs? Because let me give you some scenarios, and you tell me how you felt about those. Some people want to know, what's the best way to go to heaven? What's the best way to be happy? What's the best way to be successful? In everybody's mind, they settle for something that they see as their serenity. Serenity is that gives them peace, comfort, right? Or they settle for something that gives them such a pleasure, such a, not acceptance, but such a peace. They strive their whole life to get there and to have that. You have Muslims that they pray diligently, guys, on their knees. Can I give you an example? So, what they do is they hear a call. They go together, guys. Some of them that can't, they go in their own room, a quiet place. They get on all fours there. Okay, there you go. Take your time. Go on your knees. There you go. And they literally bow down like you're going into a child pose. They're going to bend just like that. And they go out like that. Don't worry. They're bend like around. There you go. And that's how they are. Go no, keep going. You're supposed to be my example, guys. There you go. So they stay like that, guys, for hours. And then now you can go back to your knees. So they do that for hours, guys. It's crazy, huh? And you know what they're hoping? That if they do that, it'll prove that they're a good person and they'll go to heaven. You have Buddhists, guys, that they live their self and they do it by good deeds. And they hope that once they do those good deeds, that they'll be recreated into a good animal or a great person. I'm going to be a great conqueror because, I was a poor person, but I lived my life and I was always helping people. And you know what? I'm going to be a conqueror in 1,000 years. That's just my fate because I believe I'm going to be recreated. We're going to return to the earth and then I'm going to come back as this awesome, amazing person in the same world that we live in, guys. Why does everybody want to escape? Let's go further, something that you guys can identify with. You have a businessman. He works his butt off to get the most money he ever can. That's all he does. He's diligently working all the time. He has a family. He has this. He has that. And you look at him and say, wow, that's such a good thing. Such a good thing. That's great. Right? Who agrees with me that is great? Who agrees with me? Okay. Who agrees with me that it's not? Who agrees with me if you think it is, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you think that's not good what I just said. The truth is, guys, that is very good. But where was his heart? Why was he doing it? The way we live in the American dream, that was for him. That wasn't for God. God never told that rich man that he can't be rich. But what God was telling him is you can't go your life without God. Because you know what, guys? In the end, what is it for you? You need everybody's eyes, because this is something that you hear, but now you need to receive it. What is it for you to gain everything you ever wanted? The best house, the best job. We're gonna get older, guys. So let's have this young skinny man. I'm gonna play out his life. Okay? Right now he's a little smaller. He gets older and he's naturally talented at football. He's naturally talented at soccer. He's naturally talented at just random things that he didn't even know he's talented at. He starts developing some humongous, biceps, and he's just really just an all-around Olympic star. He goes to the Olympics at an early age, and on top of that, he says, "I'm forgetting that. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just be in the NBA for a couple of years, quit that, and you know what? Then I'm going to go from there, and man, I'm going to actually just keep this house here. I'm going to get the best." He has the biggest bling being on that gets so heavy that he has to have 3 people to carry that bling around. On top of that, guys, he has such a nice car that even his rims have diamonds on it. On top of that, guys, he has this house. It's so crazy. He's the only one that has to be in there, but he has 100 maids, and they all clean one little corner with a toothbrush, and by the time he gets home, he's the only one there. I created this whole story for him. But the crazy thing, guys, is that even though I said all that, I can't tell you, all those things I said, guys, I bet you if I said go for that door right now and you'll get that none of you guys would not run to just experience that. Why? Because it sounds enjoyable, right? To have that, to experience it, to actually be able to have that kind of status, right? It sounds like it would be boring, but what people would look at you a different way, right? Why would people look at you a different way? They would worship you. They would adore you. They would think highly of you as a person. And that becomes what you want. And so, as you guys are looking at me, I want to ask you a question. What do you want out of this life? Because I want to take the next 3 minutes to tell you about something that you might not know. Because you know what? I was told it as a young age, and it went just like this over my head. And if you guys don't plug in, I want you guys to put your coins in your lap or in your pocket. Don't talk to your neighbor. Just look at me for 2 minutes because I don't want this to go over your head. This is a very important message that I'm going to tell you. Because what I didn't understand, this God, and I say it like that purposely, because when it was introduced to me, I was taught God, us. God, us. That's how it was. There's no not. But yet, whenever I became a believer, by understanding my sin and then, knowing that I needed Jesus, I still had a void there that I needed God to fill. Even though I knew I was a sinner and I needed Him, there were still holes there. And so some of you are believers today, and some of you are not. And it's okay because you know what? You're hearing this message and you might respond to it today. God bless. And those that are, you will become stronger Christians. Because here's the thing, guys. It's not just about this and that. There was a long, my aunts, if it was a gillion of me, and I just made up that. I don't even know if that existed. It's not enough to describe how far and how wide and how long it took God to go for you. It's not even a miracle. It just attests of actually that there is a God. That someone that you couldn't visually put in a human form. You just stand up for me real quick. Just stand right here. I can't just go here and put God into this. God humbled Himself even so long as He put Himself in this temple, but He wanted it represented in a certain way. It was crazy, guys. They had this temple, and basically they had this Ark of the Covenant, and that represented almost God being with His people. But even in that box, guys, there wasn't this big thing of, okay, this is who God is. It was so much of who He is that there's this big box that is bigger than what we want to put Him in. They put Him in this ark. But there's no bounds to who God is. There's no way to describe Him. And I share all that because something of this magnitude, you look at all the stars, guys, in the very big sky, none of that compares to how big God is. That as how big God is, will come to this little bitty tiny earth. That's not even an atom on this little thing of how big the universe is. If I try to look at the atom, I can't. My eyes are not that capable to look at an atom on a chair. But imagine that little atom being Earth that God will say, out of all the universe, I'm going to make this atom. And it's going to be Earth, and there's going to be people that are going to be made in my likeness. They're going to be for a special purpose that I'm going to talk to you about right now. Because I have to set that tone, guys, because I'm going to tell you something you're not going to want to hear. God made many things. He made us. You can sit in these chairs. Good job. But He also made different types of angelic creatures. One of those we talk about sometimes was, his name is Satan, right? Everybody say Satan.
Satan.
God made him for a specific purpose. Out of that, he tried to create his own purpose. Now he's trying to still create his own purpose. And he believes he's succeeding, but he's not. I'm glad that y'all even came. He didn't want you to come in here and sit in this chair. So because of what he did, God wanted to make sure that he would not have that power to do that. And He said, hey, you're going to be in this place, which is called the lake of fire, which is called Hades. And the parable, it talks about Hades. This is his place where no one wants to go. There's dark. There's grinding of teeth. The grinding of teeth was the rich man, guys. Everybody say rich man. It was the rich man down there. He was grinding his teeth because he looked at the poor man and said, I didn't even know that was what he had. I had all these riches, and I had a much that I was content with. Imagine the basic American that goes in his parking lot, closes the door, and has the Lexus, and that's all he got.
What?
And that's all he can see. Imagine the house that is right next to you. Imagine that you have your own allotment, and you feel that you have everything. You have everything you ever needed. But then you look up, he looks up, and he says, whoa! Oh my goodness! I didn't know you had all that! If I only knew! Come on, man! Don't you know me? The same person that passed up every day. Oh. You imagine that, guys? Every day. You just look up, hey, you know me. And guys, God gave up everything so that you can have everything. God took him who had no sin and he made him sin for us, guys. Ladies, God made Jesus sin so that by him being nailed to the cross, that you might be called his. I don't want to just say children, you're his. When you believe in him. Why is that possible? Because Jesus was innocent, guys. He wasn't under the same rules. A lot of people don't understand that. That's why they don't worship Jesus. Because they think he's just a man. He wasn't born like we was born. He was always God. And a lot of people don't get that. And you know what? The truth is that a lot of people say it takes a lot of faith and whatnot. I've already laid it out for you, and I would love to lay it out for you more. But when it comes down to it, guys, there's a step that you have to take by faith and understand that, am I going to give my life like Jesus gave his life? And know that what's waiting for me in heaven is so much more than anything I would love to cherish to hold on to. And know that God is the only one that can provide all of your needs according to his riches and glory. And so, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pray. I would love to give at least 10, 15 minutes. You're going to have questions. We have my leaders. Me and Miss Molly are going to take you half of you. We're going to read a parable to you. And you know what? If you have some questions, ask us. I've talked to you about a lot of stuff. I would like to go deeper, but I'm going to save that for next week. And so, I'm going to have this guy stand up here. We're going to pray. Pray, everybody. Go ahead and bow your heads. We're going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that you would bless this man. And you would bless all of the preteens in this room. Lord, I know you have a specific purpose for them. Lord, in the age that they are now, Lord, they might not understand a lot of things, but I believe today they understood that you went a long way to save them. That you limit yourself, you are God. That's how big and wide you are. You limit yourself to a human being. You made us, and it should make them feel so special that God would see even worthy to come in our form to reach us. That he did not make us by mistake, and he didn't make us in any nasty way. And he did not make us like an animal. He has made us a human that belongs to you and have a relationship with you. I pray as we do break up that if they do have any questions, hopefully we're able to answer them. If not, they would write them down, and then next week when we talk to them again, they will ask them. Or they would ask their parents. And the parents will call us, and whatever needs to be done, that they're able to fill that void that is in their heart. We just give you all the glory. We thank you for what you're doing today and what you're continuing to do in their lives. We just give you all the glory. We all say, amen.